afternoon. It's time for a little live learning. And today I want to talk about career titles because I recall as I was writing down some thoughts for the next couple of months and preparing for this latter half of the year, I recall someone on my team who had their eyes set on a particular job position, and then it went away. And I remember saying, don't get caught up on titles. And I thought to myself, more people need to hear that message. So that is what we're going to cover today in this episode of HouJack DMS Live Learning. Good afternoon. My name is Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. We are the career coach digital marketer here at HouJack Digital Marketing Solutions. And you are watching HouJack DMS Live Learning, perhaps on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, we would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe. And also, you know what? Give us your comments because we really do want to have a conversation. I mean, we as a collective community want to have a conversation. If there's anything that has struck me in this age of access, is we have the opportunity to have more conversations. We're watching things happen, and yet we kind of stop. You got a question, you got a comment, you have a thought, you have an idea. Put it out there. There's no need for us to struggle. Don't believe in gatekeeping. I don't believe in someone having to fall through a couple of pitfalls. Like, it's just not necessary. Are you going to learn the lesson you're supposed to learn? You damn right you will. Doesn't have to come with all the cuts and bruises though. So let me go ahead and put that out there. So today's topic is don't be fooled by the title. Don't be fooled. Okay, my age is showing. Don't be fooled by the title. So often, we get caught up on titles in our career, in growing our business. We get caught up on titles, and I understand that this society that we currently operate in has us believing that you should drop a few titles or a title to, I'm trying to be gracious, give the appearance of importance. That's how I want to say it. That is how I'm going to say it. We'll just start with that. So I want to give you a quick little story before I get into the nitty gritty. Actually, it's going to all come together. I remember when I started my job and at the Container Stores, my very first retail job, very first one. I remember I was working at the register, and there was this tall, lanky guy, I think a little older white man, who was collecting shopping carts in the parking lot. And I thought, who is this guy? I figured it's just one of our customers being very kind to bring us some shopping carts. Didn't know who he was, but he was getting the carts. He brought them in, waved at people, and I thought, okay. I went about my business. Later on, I learned he was one of the owners of the company. That's what I learned. I thought, oh my. But when I met him, he had on a store apron like everybody else. And he was on the sales floor working with customers like everybody else. Even the customers didn't know who he was. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So when we got a chance to talk, because he made a point of chatting with every single person in that building. When he got to me, he asked questions. What are you doing? What are you studying? Blah, blah, blah. How long you've been here? Yada, yada, yada. So I was sharing that, I was in college, figured some things out, came back home because I didn't like my major that I created, but I had to get a job. And I remember shopping here as a senior in high school. And so I figured, hey, I like this kind of stuff. This stuff talks to me. Why not? So he starts talking about leadership and ownership. And he mentioned that I had every right to run this store the way the one store manager does. That's being a leader. Just do what needs to be done. And this is my store. And I need to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, that things are clean, that customers are attended to. That is my job. It doesn't belong to one person, it belongs to all of us. And I thought, okay. Because, as a Virgo, we gonna run some things. If you give us the keys to the castle, I'm gonna turn it out. Which is what we ended up doing. We ended up taking full charge, so much so that when customers would come in, they would stop and say, "Hey, are you the manager?" I was like, "No, but how can I help you? What do you need assistance with?" And they're like, "Oh, we were just watching you, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, yeah. We had a sense of pride about where we worked. And there was this high level of pride about running the store, maintaining the business, taking care of the customers. All because this guy came in and did the same thing. His title didn't dictate what he did or didn't do. He was not too good to go get shopping carts out of the parking lot. He was not too good to talk to, as he liked to term it, the prime time, because he didn't believe in part time as the title, he believed in prime time. People like me came in for the prime time hours and made mad money, which he did. He didn't believe in her. He believed in leadership, and leaders do what leaders are supposed to do at all times. That's what he started with. That's what I had as a foundation as a 19-year-old in retail. It explains why I am the way I am. So as I grew in my career and created titles for myself, literally created and wrote my own jobs, I would tell people that I was responsible for, do not get attached to the title. Because the job position is going to come and go. But if you are hunting for a title, you're going to be disappointed. In the moment, the job was, let's just say, store admin. That was the job. Store admins are in, and then all of a sudden, store admins are out. But the task is still there. It is just now the administrator of blah, blah operations, whatever you want to call it, because we're always creating some weird something to simply say what we all know that we're doing, right? That's always there. But it's not about the title. It's about the skills and the competencies, and I'm going to say the salary as well, that you really want to focus on when you are growing your career. The title will come and go. So if you are in the beginning of your career, even if you're in the middle of your career, and you have all of your sights set on a particular title, I am going to suggest that you let that go. The title, that job position, could be here today and it will be gone tomorrow. We are in a workforce that is ever evolving. We are creating jobs that didn't even exist 2 years ago, let alone 20. But those tasks are still there. The work that needs to be done is still there. So don't get caught up in the title. But what I want to suggest is that you focus on your skills and growing your salary. So I've shared this before. I'm going to share it again. When we take the title approach, we can sometimes be bamboozled. You may find yourself getting caught up in what's called a lateral move, where your employer gives you a new title and more tasks, but no money. You don't get any kind of extra compensation for taking on this new title. Now you may feel good saying, well, I'm the so-and-so and I have this now and I have that, but it's a lateral move. What does that mean? Simply moves that on this compensation band, You are simply on the same band in the same area, but your title changes. And sometimes you may very well be given more responsibility, but not more money. More tasks, but not more money. All because, well, it's a better title. Be careful of that. Do not get caught up on a title. If there is something you want to do, I suggest looking at the job description and looking at the skills and the competencies that they are looking for with that particular position. If you possess those skills, those competencies, you will always get whatever the title is when you're ready for it. Keep that in mind. If they say we need somebody who can create blah, blah reporting and can write up yada, yada messages and can do XYZ program, I don't care what the title is. You have the skills, the competencies to fulfill that role. Keep that as your North Star. But do not get bamboozled into the lateral move. It happens to all of us. Did it ever happen? I don't think it ever happened to me, though. I've seen it. Definitely seen it. My husband openly accepted it, the lateral move. So just be careful, because a lot of times, if you're not reading all the fine print, if you're not asking all the questions about what comes with, you're going to find yourself taking on more responsibilities and not being compensated for it. So we don't want to have that happen. We definitely don't want that. But we have seen a number of people like, oh, I'm going to give you this title. And it's like, no. I'm going to need some title. I'm going to need some salary to go with the title. So check that. Lastly, here's your biggest thing. Invest in continuing education. We are never done learning. So, quick little side note. Let's talk about being a master. Here is the issue with using master. Master gives the illusion of hitting a ceiling and that there's nowhere else to go and that you have done all that could be done here. And so you're tapped out. Be careful in using master. Can it work in your favor? It all depends on where you are. But in the world of education, the world of living, we never truly master anything. We do become more proficient with certain areas of our career, with particular skill sets. We are more proficient. When you master it, it can appear as if you have nothing else left to learn. But look at our life. A few years ago, we all did not have access to the plethora of AI tools we have today. And while some people believe that AI is going to snatch your job, not necessarily true. The persons who are investing in education around AI, how to create prompts for AI, how to navigate the AI tools, those people are going to snatch your job. They're going to do it because creating a prompt requires a certain level of communication. And think about the last time you've had a really good conversation. Was that person able to articulate everything to you? That's AI. You have to be able to tell it exactly what you want it to do, how and why. Otherwise, you get whatever it gives you. You throw in some garbage, it spits out some garbage. You're like, that's not what I wanted. You got to talk to it. You have to articulate exactly what you want. You got to give it some context. Got to give it some meat, some potatoes. invest in continuing education. Whatever that is, that may be a certification for your particular career field. It may be a one-day workshop. It could be an online class. It could be any of those things. But never stop learning. You don't really want to be a master, and I know it sounds awful. You want to grow your proficiency with a variety of skills, understanding, using software, what have you. That's what you want to focus on. That is going to get you to go much further than you ever would. And what's really cool now about education today is that you can take a class in a weekend, 2 weeks, a month, and get a host of skills that would put you in a whole nother place, would make you far more competitive, depending on what you're looking for. A host of skills in a weekend, a month, 2 months. What's so great about how we learn nowadays and the access available to us is that you don't have to do it the old-fashioned way. You don't have to go to 4 years. You don't have to do it for 2 years. There are a variety of programs. You can find what you need, get the skills you need to get you to where you want to go next. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But if I say nothing else, keep learning and keep testing yourself, keep pushing your boundaries, keep going for that gusto. The moment you settle, all hell breaks loose. That's facts. If you're around people in any career, any industry that says, this is dead, this is no longer valid, nobody wants this, one, get away from those people. But two, recognize those are the folks who have gone stale. They're not moving. They're not attempting to grow. They're not looking to bring in new content in terms of information. You don't want to be around those people. I'm a photographer. In my other life, there are always new skills on the rise. Always. Some things will always remain true, and then others will change. I mean, even how we create our art has shifted. What's in vogue now, well, may not be in vogue later. But it's okay. We will evolve. We will adapt. So make sure that you focus on adapting. So let's run this down, shall we? Because we love these quick lunch and learns. Give you some quick tips, get it together, move it on. 1, titles come and go. Do not get attached to a title. Just don't. Don't. The job will still be the same. The title, doesn't really have any meaning. And make sure about this too. The title you have in this one particular company, that title may not translate to this other company. Which is why I say, don't get caught up in titles. And if your title is so specific to a particular task, then you should very well get you some other skills. Because you may find that at this new job, this new organization, they don't need the very one finite thing that you do. Now what? Right? So don't box yourself in. Number 2, focus on skills and growing your salary. It's about skills, people. Whatever that title is, it will always have the job description. What skills they're looking for, what competencies they're looking for. Zero in on that. If you currently don't have it, make sure you're working on it. So when your time comes, you have what is necessary to grab that position and anything else you want. Get those skills and competencies up. And make sure that you don't, and I should really, no, let me not say it like that. I don't want to say don't. Because you have to do what's best for your career at the time that you're in. My thought is this. if you have to take a lateral move, do whatever you can to get the money to come with. I'm going to say, don't rush into taking on a new title with more responsibilities and no money to come with. Be compensated fairly, okay? Titles don't mean anything if there's no money behind them. That's just my own personal opinion. So be careful of just grabbing the title. Think about, is there more money involved? Because if not, I don't see why I'm working harder and doing more stuff and making the same amount of money. Like, that don't make sense. That math does not add up. So don't cheat yourself out of opportunities. Lastly, invest in continuing education. Keep learning. It's okay to master something, but keep learning. Become more proficient. Challenge yourself to get beyond your current comfort area. I don't like comfort zones. I don't like them. And I don't like stepping out. I like expanding my comfort zone. Because if you step out, you can step back in. We don't want to go back. We want to keep growing our comfort zone. But keep challenging yourself. And think about the different ways that you can invest in your education. Could be a weekend class. Could be a 2-month online class, could be a quick certification, could be a traditional 2-year, 4-year education, whatever it is. But look at other ways to continue investing in your education. You'll be much happier for it. Trust me. Trust me on that one. So as we wrap up this quick lunch and learn, as we like to say here, want to invite you to get our newsletter. Now, we do it monthly. I do it monthly. We got Selling, Grow Your Career, Overcoming Obstacles. We also talk about building a community. It is good to have like-minded individuals. It is. But just because we're like-minded doesn't mean that we're going to BS you. Okay? It's also great to have people who will tell you what you need to hear when you need to hear it, i.e. a timely conversation, timely feedback. Perhaps we should talk about feedback next, because that's a big one. We're not talking about criticisms. Critiques are subjective. All depends on the person who is delivering it, whereas feedback is objective. It's also very specific. Okay? But that's for another class. So as we turn this one over, we want to say thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you all for watching, giving us this quick 20 or so minutes. We do appreciate it. And we'll be back in another 2 weeks, every other week, with another quick HouJack DMS. You know, I have entirely too many initials. I have to really figure out how to get my initials together. But it is a HouJack DMS Live Learning episode. We'll be back in another 2 weeks with some more quick learning for you. Enjoy your day.